Hi guys.
Hi guys.
Welcome back to the channel.
Welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to be going over some financial things. We're going to be talking about finances. Pretty much we're going to be going over my plan on, or our plan on how we're going to pay off my student loans. Currently I have $13,674.88. I began at $29,502.49. So we're more than halfway finished. This is the plan that we will execute to pay the rest of them off.
You guys probably don't know this, or you might know it, but sometimes I'll devise a plan or look at our financial situation or trajectory in an Excel worksheet. I'm not really big on Excel.
This Excel sheet is beautiful. It's amazing.
It's fire. I'm not really big on Excel, but I do like seeing the bigger picture every now and again, especially when working towards a lofty goal, like paying off student loans. So I have created a plan beginning in May for the rest of the year, and I just wanted to see what we would need to do in order to finish paying off his student loans. So I've created a pretty solid plan. We're gonna walk you guys through it today and just let you know what our plan is for paying off his student loans and how feasible it is. Because when I put in the income, I then went to expenses and then I looked at the goal. But after I looked at the goal, I realized that our bills and expenses, especially those variable expenses, needed to be tweaked a little bit, because if we were spending excess amounts on food and dates and whatever, then we were not going to meet the goal. So I had to tweak some things, and more importantly, obviously we are in the middle of a recession pretty much, and so I don't think we should be doing any unnecessary extra spending. So let's go ahead and talk about income. Okay, so we've already talked about this, and we're just sharing it with you guys at this point. In May, we have received our stimulus checks, which they came as a surprise, and I think they came at the very tail end of April. So we have received those, so that's why we're budgeting so much for our income for May. But I will say we do project that we will bring in more, but we're budgeting on the lower side of things so as to not fail. So May, he gets an extra paycheck and we got the stimulus checks. June is gonna be a regular month as far as nobody receiving any extra paychecks. In July, we will both receive 2 extra paychecks. In August, it'll be a regular month. September, regular month. October, he gets an extra paycheck. November, regular month. And in December, I get an extra paycheck.
Okay, going over our bills. Our bills are pretty much regular. May, $71.50 for our cell phone. That's been the same. Cable and internet, $130. And those 2 bills are the same throughout the rest of the year. Electricity for May, $97.29. So we pretty much budgeted $100 for the rest of the year. I feel like in June and July, that maybe August also, that might be a little more higher, because it's gonna be hotter and
a little higher, not more higher.
A little hotter. It's gonna be a little higher.
You said more higher. Say it again.
It's gonna be higher. What else to say?
It's higher, not more higher.
It's going to be higher. I project it to be higher. All right, mortgage, $14.71. That's going to be $14.71 for the rest of the year. Water, sewer, $60 for May. We pretty much project that for the rest of the year. Security, $51.47 for the rest of the year. Nail nut, $295.20. That's going to be the minimum payments that's our payments combined.
Yeah, so what I'm actually doing, you guys, is I'm stopping paying off my student loans, because if I can, then I will, because his student loans are next in line for us to pay off. We have a plan, we've been executing the plan, and so it only makes sense in our heads to stop making my minimum payment and roll it into his minimum payment, which means that our new payment for him is gonna be $295.20. Neither of our bills are due technically until October 21st, because they're in a virus forbearance, which they all went into forbearance for both of us. There's nothing we can do about it. And they made our due dates the 21st of October, because our bills are due on the 21st anyway. The forbearance actually ends September 30th for the both of us. So our goal is to kind of execute this before the end of the forbearance, but we'll talk more about that after we finish going over the bills. But that's why you don't see a minimum payment for my student loans.
Next up, life insurance, $42 for the rest of the year. HOA fees, we don't have any for the rest of the year because we just paid our HOA fees when we moved in. And that would be due, the next time I have to pay that is what, January?
Yeah.
All right, health insurance, $218 for the rest of the year. And car insurance, we'll have to pay our car insurance again in June. That will be about $1,000. And that will go for the next 6 months, and we'll have to pay it again in December, another $1,000.
So now we're going to talk about our expenses, and these, you know, they're variable mainly, so they do change from month to month. So this is where we really had to go back in and like change some things and try to adjust and pivot and, you know, decrease so that we can actually meet our goal of paying off his student loans or saving up the money to pay off his student loans before the end of the forbearance.
So for beauty, we budgeted $50, and we're pretty much going to try to stick to that for the rest of the year, each month for the rest of the year. Donations and gifts for May, we budgeted $250. That's to account for Mother's Day.
We're actually over budget, and it's May 3rd.
Already?
We went over budget on May 2nd. Yeah, we did some random giving, which you guys are probably seeing that video now.
I thought you had put that in the budget.
I did not.
No.
I did not project that it would be
Yeah, I didn't
so
think
much.
it would be that much either.
So yeah, we're well over budget in that category,
I-
which is fine because as you'll see, at the end of this, we actually are gonna end up having more money than what we need at the end of the forbearance to pay off his student loans. So we do have a little cushion there. Plus we do have an emergency fund. So this is just, you know, budgeting, looking at the projections with our income for moving forward. But yes, we were accommodating for Mother's Day and any other kind of miscellaneous spending, but we went overboard and we just did a lot of giving. Like I said, I'll link that video up here. So there's that.
June, July, we budgeted $100 for donations and gifts. No birthdays or anything. What's that, August, $125 for...
I want you to think about
just
it.
a random, birthday. Wait, no, that's August. Oh, my mom's birthday.
I mean, if you don't want to get the lady nothing, we ain't got to.
No, I forgot. $50 in September.
So in our heads, we're going to take a L on our birthdays, and our celebration will be, our gift to ourselves will be paying off his student loans. But stay tuned for the rest of that.
October, November, December, $200 and $250. It's the holidays, birthdays, anniversaries, all that going on. Toiletries, $50. We pretty much spend $50 on toiletries each month. Food and dates, we're pretty much gonna stick to $500. I think we can, wait, that's food and dates. So that's grocery shopping and eating out.
Well, I don't know, and dates. I don't know that we're gonna really be leaving the house. So we did stick to our budget for the first time in history in April, so we're gonna have to do it. And so it's gonna pretty much mean spending about $100 each week on food and groceries, which is feasible, and we should be able to do it as long as we don't have any shenanigans and functions, which I can't promise, but you guys will see what I'm saying whenever we get to the end of this.
All right, gas for our cars, $100 for this month. Shay's currently working from home and doesn't have to drive much. But she plans to go back to work in
Ain't no plan in May, in a couple weeks.
All right, so $140 for the rest of the year, each month. That's pretty much what we do. Miscellaneous, we just do $100 at miscellaneous just in case. Shay's allowance, $100. My allowance, $100. We gotta stick to it. You know, we can't be going over $200.
Yeah. So like I was telling you guys, this budget does provide for some mishaps. Because like I said, we do have an emergency fund, and we are expecting to bring in excess amounts than what we're showing. This is just the minimum amount. However, we really can't be blowing our budget. So like the household spending is gonna have to be minimal. We can't be each going over our allowance, which I haven't really been doing that this year, but last year or some other years I would be good for going over my allowance. But we can't like blow our allowances and blowing food and dates. If we're gonna be over budget, it's gonna have to be just, you know, a few $100s. We can't do anything more than that, or we might ruin the plan.
Medical in May, June, July, we have a $60 medical bill, and that is for?
I think that's gonna be for, if I go back for a follow-up to my primary care physician, there might be a copay. So I'm just putting it in here to be safe.
I need to go to the doctor, so
that'll be free, I'm sure.
Oh, okay. Your first visit free?
No, I think if you go for a well check, he's never been for a well check. If you go to a well check, I'm pretty sure, not free because you're paying medical insurance, but like you won't have to pay a copay.
Do they always try to find something wrong during your well check so you'll come back?
I don't think so. If ain't nothing wrong with you, ain't nothing wrong with you.
Business, $400, roughly $400, $350 for the rest of the year. I think we can stick to that. House, $150.
So now is the exciting part. We're gonna start talking about our savings / loan payoff for the rest of the year. We don't quite know if we're gonna actually be making these debt payments during the forbearance. I don't really see the significance in doing so, given the climate of the world and because there's a forbearance, so interest isn't being charged on either of our loans, nor are our bills due. So I don't literally see any significance in actually
letting that money go.
Like, yes, I don't see the significance until things kind of like even out a little bit, you know, kind
of. Because right now we're in the unknown. We don't know what's gonna happen next with the world. So we're just gonna keep that money, you know, saved up until we get some closure.
Or, you know, our goal would be to
clarity.
Yeah, and our goal would be to pay off the loans by the end of the forbearance. So for the savings / loan payoff, you see a line item in our budget. That is because we do an every dollar budget. So anything extra is in that line item. But once we move down to the bottom of the page, you'll see like what that actually means. But because we do an every dollar budget, we had to add in what we're projecting that we will save or pay towards student loans. And as you can see, our total expenses with that number included is equal to our income because we do an every dollar budget, which means that we're accounting for all of our income.
Current balance is $13,674.88. On the side here under debt, we have Group C. Group C is my first group of student loans. It's at a 5.6% rate. And it is a balance of $4,377.28. Next up, we have Group E at a rate of 4.5%, and that total is $5,221.80. And last but least, we have Group F at a rate of 3.4% at $4,075.80.
So follow along, walk with me, talk with me. In the May column, you see $13,379.68. That is what he will be owing on his student loans at the end of May after we make the self-imposed minimum payment of $295.20. The number under that, $4,402.28, matches up to the savings loan payoff line item in the budget because that is how much we will be saving or putting towards debt. In our head, you know, we're working as if we're putting it towards debt, but really, given the climate, we think that we're gonna save it. So it's the same thing, just know that we might randomly pop up and make the debt payment, or we might continue to save it. If we were to do that in May, in our heads, we know that we will be starting off with paying off Group C, and then if you move over to June, you see that top number, $13,084.48. That is the amount that he will owe if we don't make the debt payment, because we're thinking that we're just gonna save it, but that will be the amount that he owes at the end of June after we make the $295.20.
All right, so in June, we'll be able to put an extra $812.27 towards the student loans, and that will also go towards Group C. In July, you see $12,789.28 after we pay the $295. And under that, we have $3,099.57. That's how much we'll be able to put extra towards student loans. That will go towards paying off the rest of Group C, and we'll be beginning to pay off Group E. After that, we have August. Notice it has crept under $13,000. Actually, it crept under $13,000.
It's crept to work?
Huh?
It's crept to work?
Yeah, creep and crept.
You could have to use a different word than crept.
Creep, crept, has crept.
It has gone down to, just run that back.
Check it, crept is a word, C-R-E-P-T.
You're gonna have to run that back.
So I creep, she crept, we all crept.
Move slowly and carefully in order to avoid being heard or noticed. Crept. Wait, crept ain't a word. Hey Alexa.
Past tense of creep.
Sorry, I don't know that.
All right, so we're in August. And after paying the minimum balance of $295, we're at $12,494.08. In August, we were able to save $1,787.27, and we'll be able to finish off Group E. In September, we're down to $12,198.88, and we're taking the L on a birthday to save a little bit more, so we'll be able to pay off, or be able to save $4,409.57, and that will kill Group F. So in October, after the forbearance period is done, we'll be down to $11,903.68. And with all the savings from throughout the months,
we'll need to make the payment before. So like I mentioned to you guys, the forbearance will end in September, on September 30th for his loans in particular. So the goal would be, if we're not gonna make the payments, which I really don't feel like we are, we still need to.
I feel like we shouldn't, because they're not accruing interest.
I feel like it doesn't make sense to. Like if it does, I don't really like doing things that don't make sense. And this makes zero sense to make a payment that's not due. However, that doesn't mean that we don't have to have this plan to pay off the student loans. You see at the end, I have the total for all of the projected debt payments, or what we're gonna be saving, which is $14,510.96. And that's obviously way more than what we're gonna need, because at the end of September, after we make the self-imposed minimum payment on the 21st, which is $295.20, because his loans, we pay them on the 21st, we will have a balance of $12,198.88, and then we can go ahead and make that payment. We actually would be set to have a few extra dollars, because this plan was actually curated before we got the stimulus checks. We had no earthly clue that we were gonna get our stimulus check. So that's why we actually are scheduled to have more money than what we need. But again, that's our plan. And I actually think we might be able to do this in a shorter amount of time, but this is our plan as of right now. And like I said, this would be worst case scenario, because we're given this opportunity to pay off the student loans before the end of September, before the forbearance. And I feel like we need to take advantage of it. Have any final thoughts?
No, just on saving the money and not paying the student loan payments. I just think that it would just be smart to keep that money and just have that money double as an emergency fund.
I think so too. But like I said, I think it's equally important that we have a plan. We actually have like a warp speed plan. We're not even gonna talk about that, because if it doesn't happen, then I don't wanna share about it in case it doesn't happen. But we actually think that we might be given the opportunity to speed up that process very quickly, provided we bring in extra income due to, you know, like I was saying, different opportunities and refunds and things like that. But this is our worst case scenario, we gotta do this plan. So yeah, that is 5 months. That's about $14,000 that we're trying to pay off in 5 months. We are going to continue to make those minimum payments, of course, and then we are going to be, you know, stashing away the extra funds so that whenever the time comes, we can go ahead and make that payment. So that's going to be a really celebratory type of situation, because even if we do speed up the process, like I said, by getting refunds and other additional income, we're still not going to pay off the student loans. It's still not going to be until September, I'm sure, but you know, remember this day, because we might, you know, pop up and you might see a video that we finished paying off his student loans. But either way, it won't be until September. Our birthdays are in September. I feel like it's going to be a magnificent way to celebrate, and then we can kind of readjust and set some more goals for the coming months. So that's it for this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and we will see you in our next money video. Bye.
Bye.